Hey guys, it's Sam, and today I'm going to be taking you on a little tour of some of the Chicago bookstores. These are all Chicago independent bookstores, and this was a video topic that was voted on by my bibliothecary supporters, so every month my bibliothecary supporters get to vote in a poll for a video topic that I will do. For December, since it is Vlogmas, every single tier gets to vote in the poll and pick multiple topics because I'll be doing Vlogmas. So about half of the topics that I do during Vlogmas will be the topics voted on by the bibliothecary supporters. So if you want to contribute to my content in that way, I will link the bibliothecary on the screen. So I did choose to do this during, or get the idea really, to do this during a month that was probably not the best because I was gone 2 out of the 4 weekends of November, which that's the only time I can go to bookstores because I work really late during the week. I work until like 10 o'clock at night. So I really can't go during the week. A lot of the bookstores aren't open during the week, and then they have really limited hours on the weekends. So it was more challenging to get to bookstores than I thought it was going to be. So I'm just telling you right now, there's probably gonna be a part 2 to this. But since moving to Chicago, I've been wanting to go to a bunch of these bookstores, and I've had so many of them on my to try list and just hadn't had the chance to get to them. And this made me do that. And I did find a favorite in this. So let's roll the footage. The bookstores I got a chance to visit. Now there are a couple bookstores that I've been to before that I want to revisit. I did try to target bookstores that mostly sell like new releases, not used bookstores, because I love a used bookstore. I just don't tend to find what I'm looking for in a used bookstore. It's very hit and miss. So a couple other ones that I have been to were used bookstores. I didn't go this month and I couldn't get footage for them, but maybe in part 2. I also do want to show you guys some comic book shops that I didn't get a chance to get to because I was gone multiple weekends, but that would also be in part 2. There's gonna be a part 2, it's gonna happen. So if we're going to rank the bookstores, least favorite to favorite, I guess? I liked all of them. Supporting any of your local bookstores, fantastic. However, I do have favorites for what I'm looking for in a bookstore. First off, an honorable mention to the closest of the library systems that is for Chicago that's close to me. That's a really confusing sentence I just did. The branch that's closest to me. Although there's probably other branches close too, but like this is the one that I knew of. It is not my favorite library I've ever been to. I love the library system of the Chicago Library. Like the fact that I have access to so many more books than I've ever had in places that I've lived has been really nice. It's better than Philly's system even, honestly. Philly did not have like the best library system. Chicago's is extensive. This branch is more of just a hub for me to pick up books because there's interlibrary loan, so you can get library books from like any of the surrounding branches, and so that's just my pickup site, honestly. The outside looks pretty cool, but inside is mostly, as you saw in the footage, like not a lot. Not even really separated by like genre or section. It's more so like adult, kids, that's it. And the second floor is all just like a study area and meeting rooms. So it's just like one floor, very small, most of it being used by computers. So it's mostly for pickups. And I'm very okay with that. My least favorite of the ones I visited would probably be City Lit Books. City Lit Books is pretty close to me, so that's convenient. I mean, it's like a couple of train stops away. And I did really like their card collection. So I showed in the video some of the like birthday holiday cards that they have, greeting cards. I really like those. Those are all made by, it looks like independent local artists and stuff. So I dug those. But their selection of sci-fi, fantasy, things that I tend to read was low. It's a smaller shop, that's totally fine. But if I was going to go to a physical bookstore, I want to have a pretty big selection to choose from. And it didn't really feel like they were like showcasing those genres. And those are the genres that I read. So just not my bookstore, but like a cute kind of one size fits all store with like not the biggest selection, but like you can probably find nearly every genre in there of like fiction. And because this one wasn't one of my favorites, I decided not to pick anything up there just because nothing was like particularly standing out to me at that shop. My second favorite is Semicolon Bookstore. I'm really glad they are again closer to me. They were just a train ride away, which is really nice. I like how curated their selection is, but again, that makes it so that it's not my like go-to shop of like go in and browse, but more so curated selections of like maybe get recommendations of books that you might not have heard of. Their space is much more open and just like very quickly browsable. Like you're not gonna get lost in that store for hours because of it's being such a curated collection, but they do focus more on like fiction written by women who are people of color, BIPOC people. So that is a curated selection that I really enjoyed. And for November, they were showcasing books by Indigenous authors. And so I picked up Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Booley, which is a book that I've been hearing a ton about. Didn't even realize it was YA until I picked it up, and there's 2 stickers on it, not just one. And this is about an Ojibwe girl who witnesses a murder and then is like thrown into the FBI investigation. And she has to use her knowledge of both chemistry and Ojibwe traditional medicine to like track down either like the source of the murder or whatever. So this is not fantasy. This is more like a contemporary story, thriller-y, which again, I didn't know until I picked it up and was like looking at it. I'm intrigued. I've had a few friends that have read this and have enjoyed it, so this is one I definitely wanted to give a go, and it was nicely on display at Semicolon Books. Then my favorite was Unabridged Bookstore, which was up in the Lakeview, Boys Town, Wrigleyville area. It's like where they all intersect. Chicago neighborhoods overlap a lot. I loved this shop. I loved the vibes of this shop. I love the area it's in. I actually hadn't been up there, and like I didn't hate it. Even I was stunned that I was in Wrigleyville actually, because I just hear like ugh about it. Packed full of every genre that you could possibly imagine. Really detailed descriptions of books that the staff recommends. And there was like, I need to ask somebody when it's not as busy and I go in there. There was almost like, I forget what the guy's name was. It was in the video, but like so-and-so's award. So there must be like one of the workers or maybe the owner is like well known in the community and is one that will be like, these are my favorite books, you know, like a little local celeb mayhaps. But floor to ceiling bookshelves, huge, every single genre, the most extensive LGBTQ plus fiction, nonfiction, media, everything, both YA and adult that I have ever seen. Like they had a whole room. They had a pretty big sci-fi and fantasy collection. It's not a sci-fi and fantasy bookshop, but they had like 2 huge bookshelves that had most of the major picks. They had the Hugo and Nebula award winners for every year on a sheet of paper so you could see and maybe pick from those. Just great. And then a ton of, again, nonfiction, like every genre possible. So that place is my new favorite, and I also bought a book while I was there. That was Chilling Effect by Valerie Valdez. And I picked this up because one, it was on my most anticipated reads list for whatever year it came out. I think it was it's not gonna say here. I want to say it was like 2020 or 2019, honestly. But people have said this gives them Mass Effect vibes. And the second book is, I think there's like a romance in it possibly. I saw something like very fleetingly on TikTok a few weeks ago and I've since forgotten. But someone was like, if you love this kind of thing, you're gonna love this book. And it was a thing I loved. But I can't tell you what it is. So I guess this is a series. But it even says on the front, like kidnappers, alien emperors, psychic cats. Like there's cats on the cover. I don't know, it just really seems adorable. So this seems like ragtag group potentially saving the world. I dig it. This is also adult, by the way. So that is it for the bookstores that I have visited so far. Comment down below and let me know if you're in Chicago and if you visited any of these and just what you look for in a local independent bookstore. Also let me know if you want to see a part 2, which I'm probably gonna do. Possibly even a part 3 because like I said, I do want to show bookstores and comic book shops. So can I do that all in a month? We will see. It makes me visit more places, which I do love. So thank you all for watching and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye.